Well, what a political news day this is starting out to be. It is now official. Jubilee Party has decided to form a coalition with ODM. This was announced just a few hours ago by the party's Secretary General Raphael Tuju, who stated that this development springs from an already existing good collaboration between the two parties in parliament on matters national interest, and the two party leaders, President Uhuru Kenyatta and Right Honorable Raila Odinga, cultivating a good working relationship in the country in an act of statesmanship that has won praise internationally. That's what they have said. Now, that, my friends, forms our conversation for today in the comments, since this is an interactive show and I want you to be part of it. So, Jubilee ODM in a coalition. How formidable is this union? Will this be enough to deliver the presidency for Raila Odinga? You can also just give me you can also just give me a general reaction to this. I will give you more details about this and what is happening in Nakuru in just a bit, plus a summary of today's big news and trending topics. Just welcome to Speedfeed. Mr. Kimani Mbogwe is my name. Always fantastic to have you here. Thanks for choosing Speedfeed to get your news today. And so shall I give you the news and paint a good picture of how the news day is unfolding today. Our top story right now is the announcement by Jubilee that they will be forming a coalition with ODM, and the official process has already started. This is, of course, was announced by the party's Secretary General Raphael Tuju, who in the statement says that ODM has remained an ally of Jubilee, supporting the ruling party both in the Senate and in the National Assembly in the passing of crucial bills. The statement also reads in part that it is noteworthy that in the last 4 years, while ODM has carried its mandate as the official opposition party, both in the Senate and the National Assembly, the party has remained a reliable ally of Jubilee Party in the passage of all critical bills that are important for the good governance of our country. That's part of the statement released by Jubilee. So now it's official, and what do you make of this? Because at the same time right now, Raila Odinga is meeting different leaders from Nakuru. They're currently at Sarova Woodlands in Nakuru, and they are expected to make a declaration at the end of this meeting, which brings together leaders from both ODM and Jubilee. Junet Mohammed is speaking right now at that particular meeting. Peter Kenneth, who we have been speculating here on Speedfeed could probably be Raila's running mate, has also spoken a few minutes ago, and he says we are ready because the union between President Uhuru and Raila Odinga means the country is united. So now we're asking today in the comments, I want your reactions and thoughts to this. Jubilee coming together with ODM, is that enough? Yeah? In the previous election was Jubilee versus ODM pretty much, because these are the two parties who have the most MPs in both the National Assembly and in the Senate. Yeah? Talk to me in the comment section. Give me your reactions to this as it unfolds. And as this happens in Nakuru, ODM's exes are having their own meeting in Naivasha. They have been there since yesterday, and sources from the One Kenya Alliance meeting say that Musalia Mudavadi is particularly opposed to the idea of One Kenya supporting Raila Odinga. He's not taking it. He says that the presidential candidate should be one of them, and Raila has to support one of them. Though the others are said to be considering the Raila option, with Kalonzo being the most likely person to play deputy in this particular case. However, nothing concrete has come from Naivasha yet, from that Naivasha meeting by One Kenya Alliance. It's happening at the Great Rift Valley Lodge, by the way, and if you want to know who owns that place, you're free to Google it. We are still waiting for white smoke, black smoke, or and this is going to form material for our political discussion today. Give me your reactions as I'll give you a summary of other news as well. I want you to hear what are your thoughts on Jubilee and ODM coming together, and the unease that is happening at One Kenya Alliance, as they try to figure out who is going to be their presidential candidate. On the other hand, Jubilee and ODM have just said it, let's go for this thing. Yep. How strong is Jubilee as a party? They have their own internal wrangles in the party. A lot of MPs have shifted to UDA. So give me your reactions to this. Hassan Ahmed nasema team UDA, team Kenya. Ruto Tosha UDA all the way. I see Hasla Nation checking in to the comments. Let me see some of your comments before I give you a summary of other news that you need to know. Today, because we're always live, by the way. I should let you know. And we get interactive here on Speedfeed. As we take a look at other news, we have a main topic that we discuss, and we also get interactive. I read your comments. I want to hear what are some of your thoughts. Just painted for you a picture of how it looks. Raila is right now in Nakuru meeting different leaders from Western and mostly leaders from the general Nakuru area. They are having a meeting right now at Sarova Woodlands in Nakuru. So, here in the comments, let's see. Morio Nzenza, is a Jubilee ODM coalition strong enough to deliver the presidency for Raila? Morio unasema yes, because of the President Kenyatta supremacy. Frankie Mogaka, you're just joining us now. Mike Corey, you're saying we have no Jubilee as a matter of fact. Simo, you're saying the answer is no. Alfred Mutua, you're saying yes. Dan Kanonyango, you're saying long live Baba. Morio Nzenza, unasema yes. Uhuru plus Baba Tosha. That's Morio Nzenza. Thank you for your comments on this. Give me your reactions as I give you a summary of other news as well. Now, speaking of other news, a 40-year-old suspect was arrested in connection to the murder of 4 men in Kitengela. The DCI says that the man went into hiding after the murder of the 4, and they are investigating his role and motive in the murder. Detectives are also pursuing 2 other suspects and a politician from the area who is said to have been at the scene of the lynching, where he fired his gun 14 times in the air to disperse the crowd. And that's the latest in regards to the Kitengela 4 who were murdered last weekend. Now, this next one is quite interesting. Interesting. So follow me here. So there's a lot to unpack here in a very, very interesting story. So a case filed by the family of a man who was shot dead by police along Mombasa Road back in 2009 has come back to haunt Attorney General Paul Kihara and Interior PS Karanja Kibicho, to the point where they were almost facing jail time. Well, they are potentially facing jail time. Follow this. So this is what happened. The family of that man sued the government, claiming that the police used excessive force, which led to the death of their kin, and they demanded compensation. The court ruled in their favor back in 2016. The case started from 2013 all the way to 2016. And the court ordered that the state pays them 5.3 million shillings. But the Interior Ministry, which was found culpable, never paid the family. So they went again back to court and sued the AG and the PS for contempt of court and failing to follow court orders. And the court found the AG and PS Kibicho guilty. So AG Paul Kihara has now asked the court to give the state 90 days to pay the family, and he has also pleaded with the court to remove his name and that of PS Kibicho from that case, since they are protected from personal liability, which is really interesting. And now it's government admitting fault, and they've asked for 90 days to pay the woman back. The interesting bit of this is that both the AG and PS Kibicho are facing jail time, that they had to actually go and defend themselves in court. Interesting, isn't it? Now, nominated Jubilee Senator Victor Prengay died last night in a car crash that happened in the outskirts of Nakuru town. According to police in Nakuru, he was rushed to hospital past 9 p.m. after the accident, and he was pronounced dead on arrival. Prengay was nominated by the Jubilee Party to the Senate to represent youth and minority groups. And now, the Tax Appeals Tribunal. I'll be coming to your comments, Morio Nzenza and everybody else who's commenting, Masi Marceline, who is just joining us now. I'll be coming to your comments, Pauline and everyone. Let me just give you a brief of other news as well. So that when now we're talking about Jubilee and ODM, you already know what else is happening. So this one regards the Tax Appeals Tribunal, which has been under KRA for the longest time, and now it has been moved to be under the judiciary. This tax tribunal is involved in resolving various tax disputes, like the recent one where ISK was involved in a tax dispute with KRA, and the tax tribunal ruled that ISK owes KRA 1.4 billion. But now the tax tribunal itself has been moved from KRA to be managed by the judiciary. And this was after a motion was tabled in Parliament to move it to the judiciary, and the judiciary and Parliament approved that bill. So now the Tax Appeals Tribunal will be managed by the Judicial Service Commission and the PSC, and its budgets will be approved directly by Parliament. Previously, they were just being approved by KRA, which raises some questions. If KRA is the one that runs the tax tribunal, do you really expect it to be fair? Like, KRA is the one who is, they're the ones who are in charge of the Tax Appeals Tribunal. They're the ones who fund it. And if you go to the Tax Appeals Tribunal, do you really expect to get a fair judgment? Maybe this is some of the questions that were raised. And by the way, this is courtesy of a suit that was filed by who? Okia Omtata. Yes. He's the one who's responsible for that. Very interesting. And now the 6 police officers involved in the murder of Kenjo Kuma brothers, they were arraigned in court this morning at the Milimani Law Courts after the DPP ordered for their arrest and prosecution. And so today, officially, that case has kicked off. And now Kenyans on Twitter are demanding that the DCI gives us one of those compositions that they usually do, including mugshots and pictures. Now we need to know exactly what happened. And yeah, we're waiting for DCI to do that. But the case has started already. Now, my alma mater, Moi University, will be closing down some of its constituent campuses to cut down on costs and to improve the education standards. Oh, yes, they need to do that. And Moi University will be closing down some of its campuses, of course. Why am I repeating this? Sorry about that. My bad. I copy-pasted a line in this. Okay. Anyway, I digress. But they have already handed over the Odera Akango campus in Siaya County to Maseno University. So Odera Akango is no longer a constituent college of Moi University. How much is their wage bill, or just how high is their wage bill? Their wage bill is 4.69 billion, which is the third largest. Yeah, coming third after KU, which is 5.6 billion, and UN, which is 8.7 billion. UN is like double that of Moi. Education is really expensive in this country. Now you can see why school fees is really expensive, and universities are struggling, which is a paradox, right? The place that you go to be taught how to manage a business is struggling to manage itself. Such a shame. Mimi ongea sana, by the way. Mimi ongea sana, sindio? Anyway, now this next one is quite interesting as well, because a witness in the murder case of former Kilifi Deputy Governor Kenneth Kamto, who was murdered in December 2018, testified in court and described how he and his accomplices ended up killing the politician. So Mwasia Kiteme, who is now a prosecution witness, testified that they planned to rob a house in Yali that neighbors the former deputy governor's home, but they were unable to rob that house because the alarms at the house went off and it was difficult to do it. But on their way out, they noticed that they could easily access Kenneth Kamto's home, so they decided to rob his house. And at the time, Kamto was in the backyard, and that is how they ended up shooting him and robbing his house. Kiteme, who is this witness who's giving this account, says he is serving a 15-year jail sentence after reaching a plea bargain with the prosecution. So he became a state witness, and he's the one who's given that account, and he's also named other accomplices. Yeah. Quite sad. Quite sad. In fact, I read the whole account of that case. It's really painful.